I'm still trying to process how I managed to turn $12,457 into a monthly dividend stream of $547 without lifting a finger. It's not like I'm a financial genius or anything. I just stumbled upon a simple strategy that's been working for me for the past 14 months. And the best part? It's not just about the money, it's about the freedom and peace of mind that comes with knowing I've got a steady income stream that's not tied to my 9-to-5 job. If you're like me, you're probably no stranger to the feeling of being stuck in debt or living paycheck to paycheck. I remember the days when I'd get a notification on my phone that my credit card balance was due, and my heart would sink. It was like I was trapped in a never-ending cycle of debt, with no clear escape plan. But then I discovered the power of dividend stocks, and everything changed. Now, I'm not going to promise you that this is a get-rich-quick scheme or that you'll become a millionaire overnight. But what I will say is that dividend stocks have been a game-changer for me, and I believe they can be for you too. So, let's dive in and explore how I've been able to generate a monthly dividend stream of $547, and how you can potentially do the same. I started by investing in a mix of established companies with a history of paying consistent dividends. I'm talking about companies like Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, and Procter & Gamble, companies that have been around for decades and have a proven track record of generating steady profits. I invested $12,457 in a diversified portfolio of these companies, and then I just let the power of compounding do its magic. Here's the thing. Dividend stocks are not just about earning a steady income stream, they're also about building wealth over time. When you invest in dividend stocks, you're essentially buying a small piece of a company that's generating profits. And as the company grows and becomes more profitable, the value of your investment increases. It's like having a silent business partner who's working for you 24/7, generating passive income and building wealth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't investing in the stock market risky? And to that, I say, yes, it can be. But the key is to invest for the long term and to diversify your portfolio. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, I'm spreading my investments across different asset classes and industries. And I'm not trying to time the market or make quick profits, I'm just letting the power of compounding do its thing. So, what's the one concrete, actionable piece of information you can take away from this? It's this: start investing in dividend stocks today, even if it's just with a small amount of money. You can begin by investing in a dividend-focused index fund or ETF, which will give you broad exposure to a range of established companies. And then, as you become more comfortable, you can start investing in individual stocks. For example, let's say you invest $1,000 in a dividend-focused index fund that yields 4% annually. That's $40 in dividend income per year, or about $3.33 per month. It's not a lot, but it's a start. And as you continue to invest and reinvest your dividends, your wealth will start to grow exponentially. I want to ask you, what's the biggest debt you're currently facing? Is it credit card debt, student loans, or something else? Share your story with me in the comments below, and I'll do my best to offer some guidance and support. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Millions of people have been where you are, and they've come out on top. If you know someone who's struggling with debt or living paycheck to paycheck, please share this with them. It could be the wake-up call they need to start building wealth and achieving financial freedom. And if this video has resonated with you, hit the like button and let me know. It tells me to keep creating content that's helpful and informative. In my next video, I'll be sharing a step-by-step guide on how to invest in dividend stocks, including how to choose the right broker, how to research individual stocks, and how to create a diversified portfolio. It's going to be a game changer, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. One of the most interesting things I've noticed about dividend stocks is how they can provide a relatively stable source of income, even in times of market volatility. For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, many dividend-paying stocks continued to pay out dividends, even as the overall market was declining. In fact, some companies, like Coca-Cola and Johnson & Johnson, actually increased their dividend payouts during that time, providing a steady stream of income for investors. Another benefit of dividend stocks is that they can help you keep pace with inflation. When you invest in dividend stocks, you're essentially buying a claim on a company's future profits, which can help your investment keep pace with rising prices. For instance, if you invest in a company like Procter & Gamble, which has a history of raising its dividend payout over time, you can potentially keep pace with inflation and even grow your wealth over the long term. I've also been experimenting with a strategy called dividend reinvestment, where I take the dividends I receive from my investments and reinvest them back into the same stocks. This can be a powerful way to accelerate your wealth growth over time, as the dividends you receive are essentially free money that you can use to buy more shares of stock. For example, if you invest $10,000 in a dividend stock that yields 4% annually, you'll receive $400 in dividend income over the course of a year. If you reinvest that $400 back into the stock, you'll now have $10,400 invested, which can generate even more dividend income in the future. In addition to investing in established companies, I've also been exploring the world of real estate investment trusts, or REITs. REITs are companies that own and operate income-generating properties, such as office buildings, apartments, and shopping centers. They're required by law to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders in the form of dividends, making them a great source of passive income. For example, if you invest in a REIT like Realty Income, which has a history of paying out consistent dividends, you can potentially earn a steady stream of income from the rents collected from the properties they own. I've been using a tool called a dividend calendar to help me keep track of when my dividend payments are scheduled to arrive. This is a simple spreadsheet that lists all of my dividend-paying stocks, along with the expected dividend payout dates and amounts. By using this tool, I can plan ahead and make sure I'm maximizing my dividend income over the course of the year. For instance, if I know that one of my stocks is scheduled to pay out a dividend in March, I can make sure to adjust my budget accordingly and plan for the extra income. I've also been learning about the concept of dividend aristocrats, which refers to companies that have increased their dividend payouts for 25 consecutive years or more. These companies are typically well established and have a strong track record of generating profits, making them a great source of stable dividend income. For example, companies like 3M and ExxonMobil have increased their dividend payouts for over 100 years, providing a steady stream of income for investors. In terms of specific numbers, I've been tracking the performance of my dividend portfolio over the past year, and I've been impressed with the results. For example, I invested $5,000 in a dividend-focused index fund, which has generated a total return of 12% over the past 12 months. This includes a dividend yield of 4%, as well as capital appreciation of 8%. I've also been investing in individual stocks, such as Coca-Cola and Johnson & Johnson, which have generated dividend yields of 3.5% and 2.5%, respectively. I've been comparing the performance of my dividend portfolio to other types of investments, such as bonds and CDs. For example, a 10-year Treasury bond might yield around 2%, while a CD might yield around 1.5%. In contrast, my dividend portfolio has generated a yield of around 4%, making it a much more attractive option for income-seeking investors. I've also been looking at the historical performance of dividend stocks, and I've been impressed with the results. For instance, the S&P 500 Dividend Aristocrats Index has generated an average annual return of 10% over the past 10 years, making it a great option for long-term investors. I've been thinking about the tax implications of dividend investing, and I've been learning about the different tax rates that apply to dividend income. For example, qualified dividend income is taxed at a rate of 0% to 20%, depending on your income level. This can make dividend investing a tax-efficient way to generate income, especially for investors who are in higher tax brackets. I've also been exploring the concept of tax loss harvesting, which involves selling losing positions in your portfolio to offset gains from other investments. This can be a great way to reduce your tax liability and maximize your after-tax returns. I've been using a dividend investing app to help me track my portfolio and stay on top of my investments. This app allows me to monitor my dividend income, track my portfolio's performance, and receive alerts when my stocks are about to pay out dividends. It's been a game changer for me, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's serious about dividend investing. For example, the app has helped me identify dividend-paying stocks that are undervalued, allowing me to buy more shares and increase my dividend income. I've been looking at the international dividend landscape, and I've been impressed with the opportunities that exist outside of the US. For example, companies like Royal Dutch Shell and British American Tobacco have a long history of paying out consistent dividends, making them great options for income-seeking investors. I've also been exploring the concept of dividend investing in emerging markets, where companies like China Mobile and Brazil's Itaú Unibanco have been generating strong dividend growth in recent years. I've been thinking about the role of dividend investing in retirement planning, and I've been learning about the different strategies that investors can use to generate income in retirement. For example, some investors use a dividend-focused approach, where they invest in a portfolio of dividend-paying stocks and use the dividend income to support their living expenses. Others use a combination of dividend stocks and bonds to generate a steady stream of income. I've also been exploring the concept of dividend investing in tax-advantaged accounts, such as 401k.